Hi guys, hope you're having a good day so far. Some of you guys are just starting, some of you guys are ending. Wish I was there as I am stuck in meetings across the street all day. So today we are starting almost the last topic of Unit 8, and this is our word problems. We're going to put a bunch of stuff that we've learned all into one problem. And what better way to do it than with words? So let's take a look at problem number 1 that you guys should all have a copy of. It says the sides of a rectangle are x plus 6 and x minus 4. If the area of a rectangle is 24 inches squared, then what is the value of x? So it's actually a fairly easy process to go through if we remember how to do a bunch of things that we've learned so far. So the first thing we need to do is take note that this is a rectangle. If you have to draw a picture, draw a picture. It tells us that one of the sides is x plus 6 and the other side is x minus 4. It doesn't matter which side you label as which side. So then it tells us that the total area is 24 inches squared. Now, how do you find area of a rectangle? That's with using the formula that area equals the length times the width. Okay, so it wants us to find what x is. Well, a couple things. Let's go ahead and fill out the formula with what we have. We have the length of x plus 6, and we have the width of x minus 4. Again, guys, it doesn't matter which order you do that in. And we do know that if we multiply those together, we get the area of 24. So the nice thing is, guys, is we know what to do when we have two binomials set up next to each other. We are going to do our biology box, the Punnett square. Okay? So again, remember, it doesn't matter which side goes on which side. I'm just going to do x and 6 on top, x and minus 4 on the side. When we multiply this together, we get x squared, 6x, negative 4x, and negative 24. Remember that when we combine this, we have to add our diagonal together, and we get that x squared plus 2x minus 24 equals positive 24. So with this, guys, now we need to solve. We know how to solve this. We can solve by factoring. You can solve by the quadratic formula. But we have one small problem, and that problem, our problem does not equal 0. If you guys remember correctly, we have to put this in ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we need to move that positive 24 by subtracting it to the other side, and it can combine with that negative 24. When we do that, we get x squared plus 2x minus 48 equals 0. We'll take a second to let you guys get caught up with writing if you are not already. Okay, now that we have that done, we can go ahead and factor this. If you're better at the quadratic formula, you can use it, but I will tell you that every single one of these problems I give you should be able to be factored. So we're going to make our propeller, multiply the outside, drop down the inside. We are looking for two numbers that can multiply to a negative 48 and add to a positive 2. And those two numbers are going to be positive 8 and negative 6. Divide by a, which is 1. And then now you can either go to your parentheses and solve it that way, or you can go the shortcut of taking the opposite number of our magic numbers. That gives us a negative 8 and a positive 6. Now, here's the problem with our answer, is that we are dealing with length. Have we ever seen a negative length? Can you have something that is negative 8 inches long? No, we can't. So we can cross that answer off, and we can say that in this problem, x equals 6. Now don't forget, we're dealing with inches here, so we're going to say 6 inches. That's our final answer. So the big thing to remember here, guys, you don't have to draw the picture. If it helps you, do it. We're going to set up our formula. solve the formula, set it equal to 0, factor, solve. Okay? So everything that we have done so far, we are just simply putting into one problem. Okay, let's take a look at problem number 2. The dimensions of a rectangle are m plus 3 and m plus 4. The area of the rectangle is 30 square meters. What is the value of m? So again, we have our length and we have our width. And we know that the area is 30 square meters. So we can say that m plus 3 times m plus 4, our length times our width, equals 30 meters. Okay? So again, go ahead and biology box this out. M3, M4. You should have m squared, 3m, 4m, and 12. Add that diagonal up, and your problem should say m squared plus 7m plus 12 equals 30. Okay, so once we have that problem there, guys, again, we have to make it equal 0. If that wasn't in your head before, get it in your head now. These problems have to equal 0. So I'm going to subtract this 30 to the other side. And I get that m squared plus 7m minus 18 equals 0. And we're going to go ahead and factor it. We have multiply the outside, and we get negative 18. Drop down the inside, positive 7. We are looking for two numbers that can multiply to negative 18 but add to 7. Those two numbers are positive 9 and negative 2. Divide by A, divide by A. So my two answers are negative 9, remember opposite signs, and positive 2. Going back and reminding you guys, we cannot have negative length. So we cannot have negative 9 be an answer. So my final answer is that x equals 2. And again, we're dealing with meters, so m. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and take a look and do problem number 3 for me. Again, I want you guys to do problem number 3 for me. Now, the big thing to remember when you guys do this problem is that we're no longer working with a rectangle. We are working with a square. And the thing that we need to know about squares is that if one side is x plus 5, that means that your other side is x plus 5, and that the area is 64. So again, now that you know that squares, same sides, go ahead and set up this problem and work through it. And if I can have the sub, please pause the video for me. So again, if the sub can please pause the video, and when it looks like students are done with this problem, go ahead and resume it. Okay guys, so hopefully you have at least gotten this far, that you have set up our equation, you have done your biology box, made it equal 0, and you should end up with x squared plus 10x minus 39. We're going to go ahead and factor this, multiply the outside, negative 39, drop down the inside, positive 10. Your magic numbers should be positive 13 and negative 3. Divide by A, and you should get that x equals negative 13 and positive 3. But like we said before, no negative answers, so x should equal 3. And we are dealing with yards in this problem. 3 yards. Alright guys, let's take a look at question number 4. It says that the area of a rectangle is 60 square centimeters. So we're back to rectangles on this problem. Okay. With that, it says the width is x plus 4 and the length is x plus 3.5. Dun dun dun. Oh my goodness, I'm giving you a decimal. How are we ever going to survive? Set it up the same exact way, guys. We have x plus 4 times x plus 3.5 equals the area of 60. Okay? go ahead and take a minute and multiply out your biology box, and have go ahead and get that. Make sure you guys use a calculator on that. You don't want to deal with those decimals otherwise. Okay, with that, you guys should have x squared, 4x, 3.5x, and 14 when we multiply 3.5 and 4 together. Add that diagonal, so you should have x squared plus 7.5x plus 14 equals 0. Okay, sorry, not equals 0. Oh my goodness. Equals 60. We need it to equal 0, so we're going to subtract 60 on both sides. And when we do that, we get that it equals negative 46. So you should have x squared plus 7.5x minus 46 equals 0. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am not wanting to factor a 7.5. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula that we just got done learning about. So if you remember correctly, A equals 1, B equals 7.5, and C equals negative 46. My formula is going to say that x equals negative 7.5 plus or minus the giant square root of 7.5 squared plus negative 4 times 1 times negative 46. And all of that is over 2 times 1. So let's simplify this out. Negative of 7.5 is just negative 7.5. 7.5 squared is going to say 56.25. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 46 gives you a positive 184. Add those numbers together, and we get that this is going to be the square root of 240.25. Take the square root of that, and that gives us 15. Pen doesn't want to work here. 0.5. Okay, see, you guys thought those numbers were going to get bad. On the bottom, 2 times 1, guys, is just 2. I'm going to actually go to the top here where I have more room. When I do this problem, simplified out, I have negative 7.5 plus 15.5 over 2 and negative 7.5 minus 15.5 over 2. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a minute to get caught up in your writing here. Make sure that when you guys calculate these out, you're watching your positive and negative signs. For our first answer, when you subtract negative 7.5, when you take negative 7.5 and add it to 15.5, you get an 8. Divide that by 2 and your first answer is 4. On the second half of the problem, negative 7.5 minus 15.5, that's negative 23. And when we divide that, we get negative 11.5. Now going back, guys, can we have negative answers when it comes to length? No. So my only answer in this problem is 4 and the units given to me are centimeters, so I'm going to say centimeters. Okay, so here is our answer. I'm going to go ahead and have the sub give you guys a practice, and you can work with a partner for the remainder of the class. I am going to have you turn these in so that I can check them out over the weekend to see what we got done. Other than that, guys, have an excellent weekend, and I will see you on Monday.